Holism is a philosophical perspective that emphasizes the importance of understanding systems, entities, or phenomena as integrated wholes rather than merely as the sum of their individual parts. It has great significance in the modern era. It stands in contrast to reductionism, which seeks to analyze complex systems by breaking them down into smaller, more manageable components. Holism argues that such an approach, while useful in certain contexts, often fails to capture the full essence and functioning of a system because it overlooks the relationships, interactions, and interdependencies that give rise to its overall character. In this sense, holism invites a broader and more interconnected way of thinking about reality. The origins of holism can be traced to various intellectual traditions, but the term itself was popularized by the South African philosopher and statesman Jan Smuts in his 1926 work Holism and Evolution. Smuts proposed that nature tends to form wholes that are greater than the sum of their parts, suggesting that evolution itself is driven by this tendency toward integration and complexity. His ideas resonated with developments in science, philosophy, and social thought, where scholars increasingly recognized that isolated analysis could not fully explain complex phenomena. In the natural sciences, holism has had a significant impact, particularly in fields such as biology and ecology. In biology, organisms are understood not merely as collections of organs and cells, but as integrated systems in which each part functions in relation to the whole. For example, the human body cannot be fully understood by studying the heart, brain, or lungs in isolation. Each organ interacts with others in intricate ways, contributing to the overall functioning and health of the organism. Similarly, in ecology, ecosystems are viewed as dynamic networks of relationships among living organisms and their environments. The removal or alteration of one component can have far-reaching effects on the entire system, illustrating the interconnected nature of ecological balance. Holism also plays a crucial role in medicine, particularly in what is often referred to as holistic or integrative medicine. This approach considers not only the physical symptoms of a patient, but also their emotional, psychological, social, and even spiritual well-being. Rather than treating a disease in isolation, holistic medicine seeks to understand the patient as a whole person. This perspective recognizes that factors such as stress, lifestyle, relationships, and environment can significantly influence health outcomes. By addressing these interconnected aspects, holistic medicine aims to promote overall well-being rather than simply eliminating symptoms. In psychology, holism has influenced various theories and approaches that emphasize the complexity of human behavior and experience. Gestalt psychology, for instance, is based on the idea that the mind perceives objects and patterns as complete forms rather than as a collection of individual elements. The famous phrase, "the whole is greater than the sum of its parts," captures this principle. Humanistic psychology also reflects a holistic orientation by focusing on the individual as an integrated being with thoughts, emotions, and aspirations that cannot be fully understood through fragmented analysis. Holism extends beyond the sciences into philosophy and social theory, where it challenges the notion that individuals or components can be fully understood in isolation from their context. In social philosophy, for example, holism emphasizes the importance of community, culture, and social structures in shaping individual identity and behavior. It suggests that individuals are not entirely self-contained entities, but are deeply influenced by the networks of relationships and institutions in which they are embedded. This perspective has implications for understanding issues such as social cohesion, cultural identity, and collective responsibility. In the realm of environmental thought, holism has contributed to the development of ecological ethics, which stress the intrinsic value of all living beings and the interconnectedness of life on Earth. This approach challenges anthropocentric views that place humans at the center of moral concern, and instead promotes a more inclusive perspective that recognizes the importance of preserving entire ecosystems. By viewing nature as an interconnected whole, holism encourages sustainable practices and a sense of responsibility toward the environment. Holism also has applications in systems theory, where it is used to analyze complex systems in fields such as engineering, economics, and organizational management. Systems thinking emphasizes the relationships and feedback loops within a system, highlighting how changes in one part can influence the whole. This approach is particularly useful in addressing complex problems that cannot be solved through linear or isolated methods. For example, in organizational management, a holistic perspective might consider how communication, leadership, culture, and external factors interact to influence performance and outcomes. Despite its many strengths, holism has faced criticism, particularly from proponents of reductionism. Critics argue that holistic approaches can sometimes be too vague or difficult to apply in practice. By focusing on the whole, they may overlook the importance of detailed analysis and precise measurement. In scientific research, reductionist methods have often led to significant discoveries by isolating variables and identifying causal relationships. However, many scholars now recognize that both approaches have their place, and that a balanced integration of reductionism and holism can provide a more comprehensive understanding of complex phenomena. Holism also raises important philosophical questions about the nature of reality and knowledge. If the whole is more than the sum of its parts, then understanding a system requires more than simply analyzing its components. It requires an appreciation of patterns, relationships, and emergent properties that arise from the interaction of parts. This idea challenges traditional notions of objectivity and suggests that knowledge is inherently contextual and relational. In contemporary thought, holism continues to gain relevance as the world becomes increasingly interconnected. Global challenges such as climate change, public health crises, and economic instability cannot be effectively addressed through isolated approaches. They require holistic thinking that considers the complex interplay of environmental, social, economic, and political factors. By encouraging a broader perspective, holism provides valuable insights into how we can navigate these challenges and work toward more sustainable and integrated solutions. Ultimately, holism invites us to see the world in a more connected and integrated way. It encourages us to move beyond narrow perspectives and to recognize the intricate relationships that shape our reality. Whether applied to science, medicine, psychology, or social thought, holism offers a powerful framework for understanding complexity and for fostering a deeper appreciation of the interconnected nature of existence.